Hello Divine Feminine and welcome to your power message for Saturday, Super Saturday, sending you so much love. And I want to say a big thank you to all of you who've messaged me or commented about how much you're enjoying these feminine readings. I am too. I get excited to come downstairs and start the day with you and talk about the journey and, bring these channeled messages through. It's what really, floats my boat and makes me happy. And I'm so grateful that I can share this time with you. So thank you for being you. Celebrate you today. It's the weekend. Maybe you've got a day off work, or you're treating yourself, or you're going shopping, or you're going somewhere, or you're just having a day for you. Spending some time with yourself, watching your favourite film, watching Netflix, chilling out, eating your favourite food. Do what feels good to you today. So the angels want you to spend this day celebrating you, remembering how amazing you are and how strong you are, how beautiful you are, how handsome you are if you are a guy. And beauty is inside and outside. And your twin loves you. Think like this today. Why wouldn't your twin want to spend time with you? You're amazing. You're amazing. You are intelligent and kind and gentle. You are loving and you're very interesting and spiritual and magical. Why wouldn't your twin want to be with you? So start looking at it differently. Start remembering how attractive you are and that your twin flame is lucky to be with you. So remember your power today and feel at peace. So I'm going to bring in some cards before I do the book. I want to read a testimony today as well before I start anything. But I want to say as well that yesterday I announced on the channel, what I'm going to be doing in London in May 2024 when I'm doing my event. And I'm really excited to say that the tickets will be going on sale on Valentine's Day. Couldn't think of a better day to put them out there. So I'm really going to be talking about the event in more detail as we get closer to that. So remember, Valentine's Day, whether you're spending it with your twin or you're not, it's about self-love. And February is a month of self-love. Every day we can focus on self-love, but February, if we start the month as we mean to go on, we're going to end the month feeling much more bright and more beautiful, more excited and much more closer to achieving our dreams in all ways, in all areas of our life, because we're going to raise the vibration. So before I start the cards today, I want to bring in a testimony from one of our soul sisters. And, this is really about how we overcome struggle. It's not about this lady saying, oh, everything's wonderful. It's saying everything became wonderful through the struggle. So this lady is amazing. She says, when I was left on read by my DM, after leaving a friendly follow-up hello thanks for the date, I hope you're well, I was absolutely, capital letters, gobsmacked that my message was viewed and not replied to. Now, this is how we feel as a divine feminine, because she says, I'm tall, I'm in shape, I'm attractive, I'm charming, etc. But I've never, ever, in capital letters, been ghosted before, let alone left on read. So that's why it can be such a shock, because our masculines bring up all the core wounds within us that we need to heal. And even if you feel everything's going good for you and you've got everything going for you, one thing they do can bring up that trigger and it can knock us down. So we're being reminded why we go through these lessons, because we have to get triggered so that we realise we are bigger than that trigger. We have to get tested so we complete the test. We have to learn so that we grow. So everything we go through on this journey grows us in such an intense and powerful way. It makes us who we are. Remember, every lesson we go through is experience that we have under our belts so that we can be there for other people, because ultimately we are leaders of light, pioneers of truth and light workers. So we've come here to lead the way, and we lead by feeling the way, by being energy feelers. So when we can express what we've been through too, it brings in that sense of empathy and understanding and feeling less alone. The fact that I've been through separation and things, that you've been through makes you feel less alone, because you understand that someone understands. So you feel understood, when you may have not before. You feel heard because you know that you are, because I'm listening to you and understanding you, and everyone here is too. We've all been through the same thing in very, very similar ways, even though we are in unique situations. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a way out. The union is possible. And not only outer union with your masculine, but inner union with yourself. That matters more than anything else. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a smile to go on your face. There is better times ahead. There is a better way. So she's saying how shocked she was. And it can be a real shock to the system when we get ghosted, when we get blocked for that first time, or when things were going so amazingly to plan and then the plan changes. And we're like, what's happening? So we're learning at this point to not take it personally. And I know it's hard because we do. We think, what have I done? Everything was fine. Maybe you've just been intimate with that person. We've just shared something with that person, a moment or a memory or a feeling or a thought or talking about the future. So you were vulnerable in that moment. You gave yourself completely to another person. And when things seem to go wrong, they pull away, they run away, they don't reply to you. That vulnerability is on show. And we feel foolish because the inner child then comes in and wants to hide. We feel like we've made a mistake. We feel very vulnerable. And that makes us feel hurt and pain and struggle. And we don't know what to do. And we lose control. And we feel like we're powerless. So we have to find the strength from within to carry on. And if you don't know about channels like this one, you find it from the angels. Even when you don't know they're there, they are with you, helping you, guiding you. Archangel Michael saying, get up, soldier. Get up, warrior. You've done this before. You'll go on. You'll go on. Your heart will go on. You are strong. And then you are guided to channels like this one, or information, or a book, or something that resonates with you. And then you start realizing it's nothing you've done wrong, but it's everything you've done right, because just like your wounds have come up for healing, theirs have too. You've triggered things in them that they didn't even know were there. And the masculines trigger things in you that you may not have experienced for a long time, since childhood, or even a past life, or maybe in a previous relationship. Something that comes up big time for healing, because you are mirrors of each other and you are each other's perfect mirror. When the masculine comes into contact with the feminine, he sees himself for the first time through the eyes of love, not fear. And that's scary, because your masculine is like, wow, that's unconditional. That's a true unconditional loving situation I'm in. That person loves me for me, nothing else. And that makes them vulnerable. So really it's vulnerability that creates the struggle, because the feminine becomes vulnerable. And boy, do we. When we're going through the separation, the ghosting, especially for the very first time, because it's just such a shock. It shocks you to your core. And that's why it's so painful and, so crazy, because we feel that lack of power. And most divine feminines, 99.9% of divine feminines, need to learn the lesson of letting go of control. And when we become powerless, that's all we can do. Hand it over to heaven. Realize there's a higher power controlling things. That sometimes things have to be out of our control. And we allow then the masculines to take the lead, because they are dealing with their own vulnerability. But it's not because they don't love you or not wanting you, or they don't feel loved by you. It's because they do feel loved by you. And that rocks them to their core, because they've never experienced love in that way. They've always experienced a conditioned love from their own conditioning, from society and upbringing and belief systems that they have to release and let go of. So this beautiful lady is saying, I know that I am tall and in shape, and I'm attractive and charming. And it doesn't matter if you're tall or short. It It doesn't matter what your body shape is. It doesn't matter, how you are. You are perfect for your twin, just as you are right now. There may be aspects of you want to change to feel better, maybe get healthier, maybe focus more on the positives and do more spiritual practices. But ultimately, you were designed perfectly for them, just as they were designed perfectly for you. So that's why the angels are saying today, celebrate you, because you are gorgeous just the way you are. And you are attractive and magical and inspirational and sexy and charming and intelligent and all the things that turn them on. So all you have to do is keep doing you. All you have to do is be yourself, and they will magnetically come back. So she goes on to say that she'd never been ghosted before or left on read. Let me just find it. I lost it then. And, we lose it then. Thank you. We lost it then. She may be thinking, yeah, if you're watching this, I lost it then. I totally lost it then. I can look back now and laugh about it, but I lost it then. Haven't we all been there? I lost my mind then. And we do laugh about it later because we realise how much we grow from that situation and how strong we become. I remember with a catalyst, he run up the road. He got in his car. Well, I run up the road, but he run up the road to get in his car because, he just kind of stormed out the house because I bought something up he didn't want to face and deal with. And he got in his car, and I was running up the road with no shoes on my feet trying to chase the car. And I was thinking, now I can laugh about it, think, well, Liz, what were you doing? I had no self-worth. I didn't trust anything. I didn't believe in myself enough to believe that he would want to be with me. And that's what I had to do. And once I got to that power, I was okay to let go. And I know it's a little bit different because that was with a catalyst, but, you'll have moments where you think, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I acted in that way. And it may make you feel vulnerable then. You have to forgive yourself for feeling vulnerable. That's the most important thing we can do as a divine feminine, to forgive ourselves for feeling vulnerable. To say to that inner child in you, the little you who's 2, 3, 4 years old, it's okay. It's okay, you've done nothing wrong. Come give me a love because you've expressed yourself. You've been authentic. You've been you. That's okay. That's okay. It's only upbringing and programming in society that says you shouldn't show emotion or you shouldn't do this or it's a weakness. It's not weakness, it's strength. That's why the masculines run, because they are supposed to be the strong one. Especially if they are a guy, men are strong. Men don't show emotion, it's weak. It's not weak. Men who are spiritual, I know there's some of you watching because you are operating in feminine energy right now. You are at your strongest right now because you are being vulnerable and showing emotion and love. But we get brought up with ideas or ideals of how things should be from society. Men should be strong, they go out and earn money, and women stay at home. I mean, how long was that going on for before it came out, that people are equal? Women are just as entitled to work as men. And men are just as entitled to stay at home with kids and, work on your own goals at home than women. So it's about equality, yes, but it's about doing it your way. Who cares what people think? And because we are light workers and twin flames and empaths and star seeds and, whatever energies you connect with, but because we are pioneers, we share our truth. That's why there's so many differences between twin flames. Age gaps, kind of differences in religious beliefs, cultures, races, all kinds of things different between you. But you know what? Love conquers all. And it's your job, and it's the love's job to show that to the world. There's nothing wrong with an age gap. Personally for me, I can talk about an age gap because I'm in an age gap connection, And before I go on, I just want to go to another message that the same lady's written here on a different video that I've also picked up on. I want to go to this before I go back to that because I was going to share this at a later date, but I'm being guided to talk about it now because I've brought up an age gap. So 10-year gap between me and him. I am the older divine feminine. Now, I'm the older divine feminine in my connection, and there's 19 years between me and George. Despite this, I'm 38 and Luke 28, his age. And I'm 46, and people say I look George's age. Now, I forget how old George is. And if you're asking me right now how old he is, it's out my head. Why? Because I never see him as a young 20-year-old guy. I see him as someone who's on my level. But I don't see myself as a 46-year-old woman. And he doesn't look at me like someone approaching 50, because we meet in the middle. And I said to him the other day, I said, how old are you again? And he's like, if you don't know, Liz, I'm not going to tell you. And I'm like, because I can't fathom it, that there's 19 years between us, because it doesn't feel that way. And this is the point this lady is making. I am the older divine feminine, but despite this, I'm 38 looking 28. I wonder if all divine feminines naturally look younger as their other soul, as a 3D glitch of your other soul being in a younger body. Well, there's no glitches. Everything happens for a reason. The truth is, the reason why divine feminines look younger, it's nothing to do with merging with the masculine. It's because you are high vibrational. So because you're operating in high vibrational energy, you are naturally youthful. You're aging backwards. You're feeling good. That's why. And that's why people look at you and think, how old are you? That's why you can look at people your age in the Matrix and they look years older. It's not because they're years older. It's because they may be operating in stress. They may be operating in a job that they don't like, or they're in a relationship that isn't serving them, or they just feel tired. They aren't excited about life every day. Whereas you're operating in your higher power. So you're tapped in, tuned in, and turned on to source. So it's source energy that's radiating through you, that's giving you a natural facelift. That's why. And the reason why the masculines can look older is because they are stuck in their 3D matrix. Okay, even if they're fighting to get out of that. And yesterday I shared that gorgeous picture of that eagle that Laura sent to us on the channel. The eagle and the horse, kind of the masculines finding freedom and truth. Once the masculines find that truth and that freedom, and they are with you, when they're out of whatever's been dragging them down, the years fall off them too. So it's not really connected with age, because age is illusion. It's connected with our vibrational frequency and the way we are feeling at peace and at one with things. That's youth. Isn't that powerful? And she goes on to say, has anyone in this journey studied this? We study through experience. I haven't had to find that out. I know that from my experiences and what the angels tell me. So remember, we don't really have to read a book or connect with a video. It's what we know inside. We look like the same age side by side, which is crazy, a decade apart. Well, me and George are 2 decades apart, and you'd never know. I'm almost 40, still no grey hairs, no wrinkles, no tats. Well, that's your, the way you want to be. For me, I'm, 46, you could say I'm approaching 50, and they give me fear because, it's about not judging others and remembering everything is different. I'm covered in tattoos, but you probably never know because you only see the ones on my fingers and my hands, When I've got tattoos, that doesn't make it wrong or make it connected with youth. We can be covered in tattoos or have none at all and still look the same age. It's because of the youthful energy. No grey hairs, no wrinkles. That's good. I was exactly the same. My grey hair has only started to come through over the last couple of years with perimenopause, and that's a natural thing. But it's embracing the natural you and being okay with it and understanding why we feel youthful. He almost sort of looks a little older. So they days, I'm looking a few years older, and Rothery meets me there too. It's the energy. When you're feeling good, you look good. When you're feeling bad, you don't look so good because you feel drained and tired. But it's even more bizarre. Well, bizarre is because you're just understanding it. It's very natural to me, and it may be natural to other people watching this. When your twin is the same gender as you, I find, but we're gay, I find the gay flames the most fascinating as they look even more like twins. true twins in every sense of the word. And that's powerful that you've noticed that, because it's showing you the truth. It's showing you the truth. It's so powerful. And it's really interesting that you've brought up same-sex twin flames, because today's 4 o'clock reading is a personal reading, almost personal reading for same-sex twin flames. So if you've been waiting for that, that's on the channel today. Okay, powerful. And let me go back to this. And so I'm really glad I shared that, because I commented back and about high vibrational energy creates youth. And that's the truth. That's the truth. So let me go back then. So she's saying she's never even been blocked or ghosted before, never been left on read. You know, she's put, especially if that person hasn't slept with me. A guy getting what they want and dipping. I think this is a different person, actually. I think I've just, I've screenshot. I thought it was the same person, but it may not be. But, it's all interlinked anyway. So this person said, I've never been ghosted. Clearly, they've just been intimate. And she says she's thinking a guy getting what they want and dipping. So again, the ego will start coming in then. It was all I could think about for over a year, as my logical mind couldn't process it, as if this even didn't belong in my universe on this timeline. So a whole year, there was some kind of separation here. And she was stressing for a whole year over it, rethinking it, going over it, trying to understand it, processing it. And then eventually, as they always do, which is saying they always come back, they always do, they randomly appear dopey and ashamed with not so nice excuses, confusing explanations, and never even sure why they run from you. Well, it may seem like a dopey and ashamed, not very exciting excuse. She uses the word crappy. I don't like swearing on the channel, but, these not so nice explanations, is because they feel guilty and vulnerable. And like you said, they're not even sure why they run from you, because they don't know why they're running from you, because you're everything they've ever wanted. So they start questioning their own behaviour, and that's part of their lesson to learn. So for example, if we're judging our twin, we're really judging ourselves, because we shouldn't judge another, because it's their journey and their lessons to learn. Yes, it affects us, but we have to be stronger than that and realise that nothing can affect our vibration without our permission. And if they're learning, we're learning too. We're learning through their situations and our own. Luckily enough, I know how rapid and messy these dynamics are, but it sure takes a while. So she's saying, I understand now why, but I didn't then. And it took me a while to get to that point of understanding. Since that event, he's ran another 4 more times. And now all I know is this running game. If he stuck around, I probably wouldn't know what to do. He blocks me all the time. It's actually peaceful when I'm blocked. And I spoke about that the other day. Little do they know that's what actually frees the divine feminine. I can't stand when he's there, yet not there. That static energy, there isn't going anywhere. At least when they block you, it's a solidified answer. And usually when they block you, they are less likely to keep you at bay, because the action is too dramatic. The action is too dramatic for them. The block creates a bigger wave that rocks back and forth. So the action pulls them back towards you. You faster somehow. Hard to explain. And I put it's hard to explain, yet you explained it perfectly. Because the truth is, all the blocks and all the ghosting and all the ways that things seem to be stuck and stagnant create the way for union. And we learn that along the way. We learn to be at peace with the journey, to go with the flow, to navigate around it. And it's really powerful because, it's Saturday today. And yesterday I recorded the weekly reading for next week over on Pixie Power Tarot. So, I post those readings on a Monday. We used to have them here on Guided by Angels, but because it's more of a general energy, I'm kind of being guided to share it over there. So that's where your dose of weekly is now. But the reading is all about letting go and being able to navigate around the journey. So, the first start of next week, we're moving towards a full moon. Got a full moon coming in next Sunday, I think it is. So, the first bit of the week is going to be a bit wobbly and a bit shaky. But it's because of how we're perceiving the journey. So things are going to get better as we move towards the full moon, because we're going to be more likely to release and let go. And when we're in a creation energy with the new moon we've just had and all this power coming in with the water rabbit, we want to make things happen. So focus that energy on your journey and making things happen for you instead of trying to keep things going with your twin when they need to naturally have a little rest or a break or a pause, and let them do them instead of trying to force them to do things your way when they need to do it their way. Allow things to flow. And it's all about perception, remember. It's how we see the journey. So it's about looking at the situation with love and anything that's happening with it with love too. So I'm going to bring in the 50 Shades of the Divine Feminine by our soul sister Desiree now. It's really powerful because, on Thursday, I spoke about the tiger. And I did a little collective message with the animal totems cards about the tiger, and the way that come up, I'm going to show you because it was so powerful. So I was using this deck for angel warriors of the channel. And if you're an angel warrior, then you'll understand exactly what I'm going to say here. But there's a card in Desiree's deck, and when we create decks sometimes it is easy to make little mistakes, and there's no mistakes. Everything happens for a reason, okay? Sometimes people are too judgy, to change things and, it shouldn't be that way. There's an error, but there's no errors. Everything happens for a reason. And, Desiree, I love this deck, by the way. It's perfect just as it is, no matter what anyone tells you. So I was using this deck and we got the card Triggered coming out. Now, I was talking about how when we get triggered on this journey, we have to learn to overcome those triggers. And look what we've got here. Triggered. So it doesn't say triggered when it's meant to, at least I think it's meant to, but it says triggered. Now, I had angel bumps when that came up because that's the energy of the tiger. Okay, take the other G out, but the tiger, I feel this is the water tiger that's just left. Because the water tiger handed over to the water rabbit for this year, but in 2022 we're all operating in the energy of the water tiger. And the message of the water tiger is to be courageous, to believe in your dreams, to have confidence in who you are, to remember your power. So we're being triggered instead of triggered. So in other words, when we go through triggers, the tiger is giving us the power to see through the illusion and to overcome the trigger and to find peace with it. And to stand your ground and believe and have faith and to observe and to not take things personally. To say, isn't that interesting? Instead of, wow, isn't that interesting? What does that mean? And that's so powerful that this come up. So I wanted to share that as well. Everything happens for a reason. Without that saying triggered, I may not have received the channeled message the way I did. So everything happens for a reason. So one little mistake when this deck was created, which wasn't a mistake at all, created a huge, powerful message here now. Isn't that powerful? It blows my mind. So let's use this deck. What's the energy today for the Divine Feminine, please? What do we need to know? And I'm going to bring in the Angel Dreams Oracle by Melissa and Doreen Virtue. So I love this deck. So can we have a card to answer this or to clarify this? Okay, so I'm going to take these as well just to see what they are, but I feel these are the two main messages. And then we're going to go to the guidebook. But really the message of today is to, to celebrate yourself. This is a time of creation in your life, so do things for you. And remember your power. That's why you're youthful. Doesn't matter how old you are. Doesn't matter if you're the younger the Divine Feminine or the older Divine Feminine. It doesn't matter if you are a man or a woman. What matters is your youthful energy and the way you are. So the energy today is dealing with inner demons. Now, those inner demons may be exactly what we've spoke about throughout so far of this reading. Wondering why things happen the way they do. Maybe the ghosting and the blocking is affecting you. But now you can deal with it because you're seeing it in a new way. And the inner demons are really the core wounds. That's all they are. Sometimes we use words that bring in stress, like demon or, Satan or evil, or we use words and words have power. So start looking at it differently. Instead of thinking my masculine is happy in a karmic situation, say my masculine is doing everything he can to free himself and find peace. The words have power. Because that's really what's happening, is the ego saying other things. And look at this, school and lessons. I've got angel bumps because no matter what these cards are, and there's a few cards here, but they're extras. This is about being in the Hogwarts of life. You know, the Hogwarts is the Harry Potter school, if you're not aware of what that is. But school is earth. So we come down to earth to learn lessons. And those lessons can be disguised as mistakes or errors. But there's always a blessing in them. There's no mistakes. Everything happens for a reason. There's no coincidences. Nothing really does happen at random. It all happens the way it's meant to, with lessons involved. So when we're dealing with our demons, we're really learning lessons in the school of life. Isn't that powerful? So these are clarifying cards. We've got autumn, abundance, preparation, harvest. Now, it doesn't matter what season we're in right now. This is about where we are. So the angels are saying this is a time right now of abundance in your life. A time where you're preparing for union. That's what separation is. A time when you're preparing to reap the harvest. So this is really what 2023 is all about, where we're getting ready for commitment. We're getting ready for our dreams. There's things manifesting. This is going to be a year of building. That's why we're seeing building work everywhere. That's why I'm up early again today, in case the noise comes back. And if it does, we cope with it, because we learn to block out distractions and deal with things head on. Inner demons. We've got fire opal, sensuality, confidence. So this is really connected with the tiger, because the tiger is saying, remember to have confidence in this love. Be confident in everything you do. Think about Maria in The Sound of Music. She was going from the convent, not the nunnery, the convent, to the house of Von Trapp. She didn't know what she was going to expect. She was afraid. She was scared. But she sang that song, I have confidence in confidence alone. And she stormed up to that house and she rang the bell and she went in and she found true love. They went into separation first and there was a karmic partner, but she found true love. So the point I'm making is, remember to have confidence. I have confidence in confidence alone. I'll see if I can find that song to share on the channel. Let me write it down, because when I'm channeling, it'll go out of my head and I'll think, what did I talk about? So, confidence. Maria from The Sound of Music, one of my favourite films. Always makes me cry when they sing Edelweiss. Beautiful. And sensuality. So remember, your sensuality, your senses, the fact that you are an empath, your sensuality, the way you feel things is a true gift. And that's a lesson we learn too. We've got stairs. Everything's about direction and timing. We get directed and we get, to learn through the direction we take, the paths we take, the lessons we learn, that it's all in divine timing. So you're moving up to the next level. We ascend to really find the way. We descend from source. We come from up there to come down here into the school of life, the earth, to learn. We learn about timing, we learn about direction, we learn through experiences, and then we ascend again. That's why we go through periods of ascension in the physical body, because we're always preparing for the next step, the next level. They always say, don't they, that, the best hotel suites are on the top floor, the penthouse. Well, we are really getting higher up every day. We're moving up to the best. We go up the stairs. That's why you may dream about stairs. Sometimes we dream about coming down the stairs. Sometimes we dream about going up the stairs. Doesn't mean there's anything detrimental going on. It means you're being shown that you come here to learn lessons and you move up to the higher levels. That's why your body goes through awakening and ascension and upgrades. Upgrades. Purpose. Third eye clairvoyance. So we learn as a divine feminine to open our third eye and become clairvoyant, because we receive previews, dreams, we have visions, we use our vision to create with visualization techniques, and our third eye opens to the truth. So people could call us psychic, clairvoyant, but it's just because we are opening up to who we truly are. And dancing, self-expression movement. So dancing is really about going with the flow. When you're dancing, it may feel awkward at first, but then you get into the rhythm. And you start to flow and you move your body, and who cares what people think? So you're expressing yourself. That's going with the flow. So through movement and self-expression, dance, we go with the flow. That's why sometimes you might be washing the dishes and you start boogieing around, or the radio's on and wow. What I do is sometimes I'll ask for signs and I'll put the radio on when I'm washing up and boom, a song comes on. That's what happened the other night when I shared that song. Okay, I can't even remember what the song was, but I thought, wow, that is such a powerful divine masculine message to the divine feminine. That's how I sometimes receive songs. Never heard it before. Sagala, okay, radio, about hearing songs. And I was like, wow, I've got to share that. And then obviously the picture there that Laura sent to us with the eagle and the horse merging as one, finding freedom and truth. Winter. Well, you might think that's where we are now. We're in cold weather. January is always a winter month because it may seem a bit stagnant. Doesn't matter if you're in a red hot country or a cold country, or a hot climate or a cold climate. That's what I was trying to say there. There's a lot of reflection taking place. Why? Because there's transition and release. So we're letting go of fear, we're transitioning, moving up the stairs to the next chapter of the journey, the next, kind of grade school. I'm trying to think about school because obviously it's a lot different when I was at school than when, other people were at school. Everyone's different. So, but when we were at school, there was, different years. So you'd move up a year. You'd learn and you'd age and move up a year. Well, in the school of life, it's not about age and growing in that way. It's about spiritual aging and spiritual learning and growth, spiritual maturity. So when we've kind of completed the lessons we come here to learn now, we get more lessons to learn later. So we're always growing. When you're in union, it's not like you live happily ever after. You'll be enjoying what you're doing, but you can enjoy what you're doing now. When you're in union, you're still learning and growing. You're still going to experience things that bring in soul growth. And those are going to be challenges as well as good times. Otherwise, what's the point of being on the earth plane? So many people think, union is the answer to everything, but it isn't. Inner union is the answer to everything. Finding inner peace, connecting with self and source, that's all you need. And your masculine will test you and trigger you along the way. So you turn to yourself and you turn to source for the answers and everything you need instead of craving everything from there. Reflection, transition, release. And some of the masculines have transitioned. So if you're, transition to the other side. So, if you've lost your masculine and my heart is with you, I'm going to be doing a reading for you guys on Sunday. Just like I'm doing a same-sex reading today, I'm going to be doing a message from the other side, from your twin and about your journey on Sunday, so you can watch that too. Communication and inner truth, blue. So blue is about the throat chakra, but it's also about Archangel Michael bringing in strength. When we're feeling blue, which means we feel sad, we feel like things are stuck or stagnant, like the winter, cool, cold, we learn to communicate with ourselves, communicate with our twin in a spiritual way through telepathy and dreams, and we connect with our inner truth. And during the lack of communication, the silence, the separation, the stillness, the masculines start to find their inner truth. And we've got Lady's Mantle, Mother, Healing, Alchemy. Now, Mother is connected with your Empress energy because you are a natural nurturer as the Empress, the Divine Feminine. That's why we want to give and help and heal and sort things out and clear the air. That's the feminine energy. That's your mother energy, whether you are a mum to kids or not. That's why you want to mother people and help people and be there for people and look after people. That's in you. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong. We naturally look after others. It's a very healing quality. And that's also a magical thing because when we start looking after ourselves, the way we give to others. So giving to ourselves what we give to others, we create magic in our life. And silver, goddess and insight. So this is remembering that you are a goddess. And that comes from within you. That insight is always there within you. Silver is also powerful. Maybe you've been guided to wear silver today or blue today or any of these other colours. Opal, maybe you're wearing an opal ring or you've got an opal crystal on or you're wearing purple. Any of these energies, if you've picked up on something within the card, it's a message for you. So let's bring in the book today then. Amazing. I can't believe I've been talking for nearly 40 minutes. It goes that quick. When I do my seminar, I'm going to have to make sure, I fit everything in because how I talk. It's like, wow, is that time gone that quick already? Amazing. Look at this. So today the message is, say goodbye to guilt. Guilt occurs, and again, guilt can be when we blame ourselves. We think we've done something wrong or we feel guilty. Guilt occurs when you blame yourself for a troubling situation. So if you're going through, like we spoke in that testimony, ghosted, being blocked, ignored, we feel guilty because it's a troubling situation. So as a feminine, we're trying to find the solution. We're trying to clear the air. That's why we keep reaching out or trying to sort things out, whereas the masculines need a bit of space. It's really powerful because right now I'm watching Suits, and I'm really enjoying it, I think I'm on season 3 or is it season 4? It might be season 4. I think it's season 4. And in Suits, Rachel and Mike, they've just had a big bust up. And they get back together, meant to be. But they've had a big bust up and he needs space. He needs space and she needs to sort it out. And it's just, to watch it just makes me smile because I think it's such a true representation of what we do as a feminine. And I'm smiling about it from a place of power because I've experienced it. So it's not like I'm laughing at the feminine for behaving the way we do. I'm laughing at how I behaved when I ran up that street. Or I was constantly trying to get George's attention, or I was doing this or that. And I think, what? Because all I needed to do was give back to me. So what Rachel is doing is trying to get his attention. So he said he wants space. He's moved out of the apartment. He needs space. He's told her there as well. The masculines don't usually, they just disappear. But he's told her she needs, he needs some space. And they're in the same office building. He's in his office working. She goes in and says, hey, they told me there was someone handsome working here, but now I know there is. Trying to make it bantery and light-hearted. And he's like, look, I just need space. He's not having any of it. I just need space. So, and he gets up and leaves the room and she's left thinking, and he just took my breath away. It took her breath away, I know it's a show, but it just took my breath away because it's like the wind goes out of you. You think, oh my God, whatever I say, it's not good enough. Whatever I say, it's not doing anything. It's not working. And they created a block. So I'm channeling now what happens. The way we panic because we think we need to get the words out. We need to communicate. We need to express. We need to sort it out. We need to make them see that there's nothing wrong and everything's okay. And we need to make them see. And then we start panicking. And that's what Rachel does. She's like, what more can I do? There's nothing more I can do. So eventually what happens is she actually goes to see him. And we don't need to do this. We just pull our energy back naturally. It's the realization. She says, look, this is the facts. This is what's happened. I just need to know where I stand. You either want to be with me or you don't. And she goes and, walks away from him then. And then he has time to think and process and he comes back to her. But the point I'm making is we don't need to go to them with an ultimatum, especially if they're blocking or ghosting us. All we need to do is focus that energy back into the self. And that naturally gives them that ultimatum because they start realising, whoa, where is she? Where is he? What's going on? A lot like when I've spoke about when the masculine is ghosting the feminine. Imagine a child running and hiding in a room after a temper tantrum. Slams the door. The mother's going to the door, knocking on the door. Come out, sweetheart. Everything's okay. Let's talk. No, nothing from the other side of the door. Because the kid does not want to talk in that moment. The kid wants to have a tantrum and just wallow and think. And that's really what, your masculine needs to do when they're in that energy. But eventually they're going to get curious. So if that mum walks away and leaves the teenager to it, that teenager is going to get hungry. That teenager is going to want to come downstairs and see what's going on. So in other words, your twin will return to you when you are doing you. So if the mother is just busy ironing or, I don't know why I said ironing, but ironing or watching TV or doing something empowering, then eventually the child will come downstairs. It's the same with you. If you do you, you iron out the creases. Thank you. That's why they showed me the iron. When you iron out the creases in your own life and you start doing you, and not feeling guilty about this and just trusting the journey and being in the flow of it, your masculine will return to you in a much lighter energy and vibration. So that's why guilt occurs, because it's a troubling situation. It's a heavy burden to carry, as well as being unhealthful and unhelpful. So in other words, when we carry around guilt, it's not good for us. It's not healthy. It's not helpful. It doesn't bring in solutions. Guilt differs greatly from a sense of responsibility. Guilt involves anger, shame, blame, and judgment, while responsibility relates to love, sharing, and positive action. So the way we take responsibility is by giving back to ourselves. So the masculines are taking responsibility for their guilt because they want to share love with you and take positive action. They don't want to sit around in anger. They don't want to sit around blaming themselves and judging themselves, and they don't want you doing that to them either. So it's about letting go. Today, we angels lift the burden of self-reproach from your shoulders. And that's why we get shoulder pain when we're going through guilt, because I bring in the Twin Flame Ascension Oracles, because, and I'm going to show you, and I could talk about it, but I like to show you a physical representation as well, because sometimes it's easier to understand. The shoulders, okay, this is my Twin Flame Ascension deck. The shoulders is feeling overwhelmed and weighed down by burden. So it's like when we're carrying around a cross. Think about Jesus carrying his cross, carrying around the weight of the world. That's why we get shoulder pain, because we feel like we've got 100 coats on that we need to let go of. Carrying around the weight of the world, cut cords of fear and give any struggle to heaven to feel a release. So when we give our burdens to heaven and we stop worrying about it or stressing over it or trying to find a solution, we just trust the universe to do that naturally, and we let go. Or it's like we take the energetic coat off and we feel easier. We put that cross down like Jesus did. We have a sense of relief. So we give it to heaven. So we give the burden away, and then we breathe deeply and this is the angel saying, we will unshackle you from the effects of blame. So breathe deeply and see yourself in heavenly light of complete forgiveness. Any mistakes of being like children who awkwardly run into each other, in truth, you're innocent and guiltless. And as you live freely and joyously, you bring great blessings to many lives, including your own. Isn't that powerful? So the real message coming through today is to celebrate yourself, but also to know that you're in the school of life. You're in the school of life, and you're learning how to deal with your own inner demons, your own struggles and wounds and worries and woes by learning from them. We learn. That's why we keep going through the same thing until we learn the lesson. So the thought for today is, I say goodbye to guilt and free myself from the burdens of blame or shame. I see myself as God sees me, innocent in all ways. I am able to live responsibly with love and peace, which lifts me up to a place where I can truly be of sacred service to myself, my loved ones, and the world. Isn't that powerful? So when we let go of all the burdens and the struggle and realise we're learning, we're growing, we're innocent, it's okay. It's okay. Children have to learn. We have to learn to walk. We may fall over, and that's okay. But we walk. We learn to talk. We may stumble over words. We may not know how to, but we learn. We learn and we grow and we evolve. And that's what this journey is about. I hope this helps. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.